of the earth with those teachings, then collectively all of us together are taking care of the entire earth. So if you're the teachings of your people, whether you're from Russia, China, South America, wherever, the Philippines, if you let that knowledge die on how you need to take care of that part of the planet, then there's going to be that imbalance. So instead of seeking to make your identity with another culture's culture, you know, you can learn about somebody else's culture and respect it, but your culture and your history is there like a dormant seed, and it's waiting to be refertilized, and it's waiting to sprout and grow and get those roots and come forward. It's there. So if you're looking for something because you have that emptiness in you, go and find your people, not the people of the 2000s, the 1900s, 1800s. Go back as far as you can and find out where your people actually came from, and you'll be surprised and amazed of how rich of an identity your people had and their ways of caring for the land. And you might just be surprised that it's kind of similar to us, but through time it's been left behind, and you need to go back. Somebody needs to go back and bring it forward.
Absolutely.
And to rebalance the earth, and then heal what it is, because just like they say there's generational trauma, I believe that there's a generational identity loss, that even though you can have as much education and think of rich and boring with life, but when there's that something missing, there's that link that needs to come forward. And you have people that have been ripped from their families. They know they're Native American, but they don't know what, because with the forced assimilation and and everything that was going on. And sometimes you had their families that made the decision to hide in plain sight, that denied who they were, so they wouldn't be killed or in prison. They've lost their identity, and maybe they're 3 generations later, those children grew up and thought they had everything, but for some reason they just felt they were missing a part of themselves. So they go out and start seeking it. And a lot of times, if they're indigenous, they go to other tribes, go to powwows or whatever, because they're pulled there like an umbilical cord. Something's pulling them. So just like all the other cultures that have lost their identity, they need to go back and be proud of it. Because today you have a mindset where people are being shamed and being made to feel like they have to hide in plain sight again, because a lot of people are. Because if they come out as who they are, whatever nationality that is, there's another culture, another group of people that's going to try to shame them and make them feel subhuman. We're all on the same level. Nobody's better than anybody else. We're all on the same level, but for some reason there's always a certain subset of people think they're more superior than everybody else. But we're all going to die and end up in the ground. We're all going to end up in the same place. You're not going anywhere different than any of the rest of us. What's that saying? Somebody says there's nothing sure as death and taxes.
It's the two things you got to do in life: pay your taxes and die.
But so that's the knowledge that to take care of the world, Creator put their gardeners all around the world and gave it those teachings. And when I say gardener, people think, oh, well, it's just about tending a gardener. No, it's your quality of life, gardening and making yourself whole, and who you are as a person, and around you as a people, that you have to continually foster that, continually reseed respect. If you don't pay it, if you don't keep it, telling the little ones, you need to be mindful, don't throw your trash down, don't speak negative to somebody else. If you don't continue to plant that seed of being a respectful person, then it gets lost. So you're always continually gardening your life. And when you're doing that, and the more you are as a healthy human being, the less you're going to look for something else to make you happy. Because, you know, my grandpa, one of my grandfathers, didn't wear shoes, lived in a little chicky hut. And people today would probably say, oh, you know, we got to do something to help this man because he needs to be in a house, he needs to have shoes, he needs to have a car. And thinking how deprived he is. And then he's looking back at them and like, wow, you know, they're so deprived because they don't know who they are and they lost their way and they're in this, but they can't appreciate the breeze because they need all this stuff to distract them from how unhappy they are. Versus himself, he knows who he is. He hears and listens and understands the environment and the animals. He doesn't need the TV set. He doesn't need to go to a concert. He doesn't need to get high because everything around him, he's in balance and he's content and happy with who he is, that he doesn't need all the external distractions, seeking happiness because he already has that happiness here. So that's why I say, if we can heal ourselves and be happy and not out there always looking for that distraction to make us happy, because when we go to buy things, we're putting stress on the environment because the more that there's demand, the more they have to create that demand, that supply to meet it. So the more they're taking from the environment, the less that you don't know who you are and how to take care of yourself, the more you're dependent on somebody else to take care of yourself, the more they're having to put that in the market. So it's like a never-ending cycle. And the more, when you grow up to be an adult, I know this is a lot, this ain't marine biology, but if you can stand on your 2 feet and you're not dependent on anybody else to take care of you, then that's a good place to be. Because if your life depends on somebody else providing you your food, providing you your shelter, providing you your clothes, providing you for money, providing you to be happy, that's how they, like a little puppet, they pull your strings. But if they say, I'm going to shut your electricity, okay. I grew up no electricity, so I don't watch. You're not going to have TV. That's okay. I don't watch TV anyways.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to have shoes. That's okay. I grew up barefoot. Well, you're not going to have money to go to the store. That's okay, because I know how to go hunt and, you know, skin a deer and, you know, get a fish, and I'm okay. Then they can't, like a puppet, pull your strings. And the more you are that, you can go and be who you need to be. But as long as you're that puppet, when they let go of the strings and you just flop down, you're just going to lay there.